I want to talk a little bit about that theme, how to succeed in business with work-life, not without really trying. I mean, if you ever saw the movie, Pierpont gets from mailroom boy to chairman of the board in, I think it's like 7 days or something. It's a very funny play, but it's a different time now, as you can tell from both the clothes, which are coming back, and the concept of succeeding without really trying. It was a joke back then, and it's a big joke now. What we really need to succeed is work-life. And what we've gathered here today and over the next 2 days and tomorrow night for our big gala dinner, we've gathered the premier people who know, who understand, who create, and who love work-life. It's you who this conference is all about. We're here to help you dig deeper into work life. We're here to create new concepts. We're here to measure and talk about how we did this year. We're here to champion this amazing business tactic, this strategy, this cultural shift that is work life. And it's a cultural shift not just at our companies, but in the country as a whole. And we have exported this cultural shift all around the globe and are now championing work life everywhere that our companies do business. You are championing work life. And I think that this theme this year is really appropriate because nothing has really prepared us for what's happening in the world over the last 3 years. It's a tough, tough time. This is not easy, and you see this reflected in what's going on all over the globe, and right here in our backyard in New York City with Occupy Wall Street, the 99% movement. What's happening is really a cry of pain. This is not so much about politics because, people keep saying, well, the Occupy Wall Street people don't know what they're arguing for. They don't have a platform. But I believe that's because it's not about a platform. It doesn't really need a platform. It's a cry of pain. And the pain is that the American family is suffering. And that this suffering is, has many, many, many implications for us as professionals. And it has many reasons. Unemployment is high. Foreclosures are high. There's a feeling of instability in our own lives. There's a feeling of not being able to pay back college loans. All of this is all accumulating, and we can't ignore it. We can't walk away from it. We can't put it in a little box and say, oh, that's just a few people. No. We didn't ever really see this kind of movement, even when there was huge discussion about getting out of Iraq or getting out of Afghanistan. This didn't create this kind of public discussion. And I'm always a great one for public discussion. I think it's the most important thing that we can do. And so I think we need to talk about this. So to relate that back to what we're doing here today and tomorrow, work life is one of the solutions, not just for companies, but also for families. And the work that we do here over the next 2 days that propels us forward over the next year and then on the year after that, this work is so important because never more has this concept of integrating work and life been more important. Never has it been so important that we keep top talent and that we make our top talent succeed and that we help our top talent to be very productive. A lot of the way that companies look at work life is to say that a happy worker, a happy employee is a productive employee. That's a kind of a baseline idea. So everything that we're doing today and tomorrow is to improve work life as a whole systemic solution to the problems that this country faces. It's a systemic solution inside your companies Yes, but it's also a systemic solution inside our families, on an individual family-by-family basis, inside our communities, and inside the country as a whole. Because when work-life succeeds, there is so much more support for women who are 50% of the workforce now. In many companies represented here, higher than 50%. So much more support for women around the globe who are quickly getting to the same level of expectation on work-life issues that we have in this country. But it's also about setting the bar for others. Because we in this room are way ahead of everybody else. And we'll show you some numbers in just a minute to prove that to you. We are way ahead of everybody else. And it's kind of sad how far we are ahead. I always am proud of the 100 best for how far we are ahead, but I'm also always concerned about how far we are ahead. And I really want to get more companies. I was asked what would Working Mother look like in 2050. And I said we'd have 1,000 best companies, not 100. But I am really far from that goal. We are far from that goal of having 1,000 best companies. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But so I think that when we look at the succeeding with work life, how to succeed in business with work life, we need to take it into the context of a bigger conversation, a conversation that reflects the economy, the global nature of our businesses, the needs of our families, the situation of our communities, our states, our nation, even our armed services, which are embracing work life faster than any other segment of our country. And why are the armed services embracing work life? Because women are becoming a really important part of the armed services, and because it works, it succeeds. So as you work today on the next steps for work life, and as you work today on what is Work Life 3.0, as we acknowledge today that this is the 26th year of the 100 best companies, and as we acknowledge that nothing gets done without really trying, we know that, I want us to reflect on the work that we do in the context of today. We can't rest on our laurels. We can't rest on the fact that we're the best. We can't take too much time even to celebrate being the best, although we will on Thursday night. We'll take all the time we need until 9:15, and then we're cut off. But we can barely take the time because the need is so urgent. What you do here today and tomorrow is urgently, urgently needed by our country, our communities, our families, and all the other companies that don't make the Working Mother 100 best. So I'm not sure how you can get out there and proselytize to the companies that aren't on this list, but let's think about that too. We used the magazine, and you saw our gorgeous cover earlier of the 100 best with that fabulous Cole Haan purse. Everybody's asking me, what is it? It's a Cole Haan purse. You can get it at Macy's and Lord & Taylor. Everybody's all the readers are emailing me saying, where can I get that fabulous poppy-colored red purse? I knew it was a hit when my daughter, who picked out my outfit today, thank you, Julia, said, yes, oh, that is the purse for this season. Oh boy, that was a clue. So as we look at our fabulous issue and read it and enjoy it and participate in our conference, let's put ourselves in the biggest context we can, global, national, community, and then let's put us into the smallest context that we can, family, friends, neighbors, and remember why we do this work from the very bottom of our beings. So what I want to do is to show you some of the numbers. Oh, before I do that, though, I have to talk to you about Twitter. Twitter is my friend. I will be twittering these pictures from the opening thing, and I'll be twittering everybody tweeting. Oh, they trained me. They said it's not twittering, it's tweeting. Twitter is what birds do. Tweeting is what humans do. Okay, I don't get it, but let's get that slide up here. Here's our hashtag. Use this. Hashtag WM Work Life. And me, I am Carol Evans, WM, so you can follow me or tweet along with me. And when you magically combine these two things together, okay, next slide, when you combine WMM Work Life and at Working Mother, which really helps because then you have very few letters left to fill into the tweet. So that's a really good clue right there. When you combine these two together, something magical happens and you can follow the work-life conversation. So you can see I'm reading that. You can follow the work-life. No, it's really a fun world, and we're all about it. Before I bring Jennifer up, just a few other points of interest here. The exhibit hall is open, full of fantastic solutions for you. These people are here to help you to streamline the work that you do, and so be sure to go up and talk to them. They're the friendliest folks in town, so be sure to stop by and say hello. And then we have our silent auction. Oh, please enjoy it, participate in it, and bid up. What we need is people to support the Museum of Motherhood, which is our recipient of all of our funds this year. Last year we raised $7,000, and I don't know if Museum of Motherhood would have the home that it has now without that seed money of $7,000 last year. So yes, thank you. Congratulations to Joy Rose and the Museum of Motherhood. It's the only Museum of Motherhood in the country. There's a Museum of Barbed Wire and a Museum of Mustard and everything else. So, there's a Museum of Sex here in the city, so, that's a fun one too. But the Museum of Motherhood is not just a museum of artifacts. It's not really a museum of artifacts at all. It's a living museum, living with music, with plays, with artwork, all of it about moms now, what moms are doing now, and then the historical look back at motherhood that frames the walls and the museum. So please be sure to visit it if you're in town for a few days. It's at 82nd and, anybody know? Shout it out. I'll get that back to you. 82nd and First. And it is just phenomenal. So talk to Joy, bid up the items. She has fabulous items. And now I want to quickly bring up Jennifer Owens. She is the editorial director of Working Mother magazine, and she is the director of the Working Mother Research Institute, of which I am extremely proud and which has been doing some incredible work today, yesterday, and all year long. And
I'm coming.
Come on up, baby. Wait, it's a mess up here. Let me make room for you.
Thank you.
And your own notebook. All right, so what Jennifer is going to do is we are going to co-present the data from the executive summary today.
Yeah.
Your hair looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know, she got it blown out this morning.
I did. Just for you.
Mine is just a spiky thing going on. I can't understand it.
I don't do it for my husband. I do it for you.
Hey, that's true for me, too. I spike my hair for them, not for him. But, okay, so we're going to show you the executive summary of this year's 100 Best Companies. It's the 2010 data released in 2011.
Yes.
And it's all about what you're going to say.
So as you know, we collect hundreds of data points every year in the applications that you take so much time to fill out. And so that we're here today to report back on what you told us, both the good news, the bad news, a little bit of the ugly, not too much ugly. So
hopefully not too much ugly.
Not too much, because we look so beautiful. Okay, so first, though, we're going to set the stage. We like to kind of talk about the impact that the best companies have just in and of themselves. The 100 best companies employ 2.5 million people in 18 industries across 37,700 work sites. Of these 2.5 million employees, about half are women. And last year, the best companies hired 169,000 women, 176,000 men, for a total of 346,000 hires. We know because we counted. And that's a fair amount of movement. It's equal to 15% of your total workforce as a group, and that's in a tough economy. So there are things happening at these companies.
Okay, but we want to look at where are the women. And so even though women represent nearly half of all the employees at our companies, their representation shrinks as they go higher up the ladder. And we've looked at these types of numbers over the years from different sources, but here it is from the best companies. Let's look at it. As you can see here, the total number of men and women employees at the 100 best start out very similar, 51-49. And then the manager split is 60-40 in favor of men. So men start rising, women start decreasing as we go up the ladder. Now let's look at senior managers. Men represent 67% of senior managers, and to women's 33%. And then take it one level higher, and the drama continues. So 78% of corporate executives are men, and 22% are women. And so that's a statistic that we're very concerned about, of course, because we want these numbers to change for all women. So let's take a look at some good news, though. We do see that 25% of women are on the corporate boards of directors. And this is a really big increase because last year it was just 17%. So we're very proud of that increase, and we want to see all these numbers increase over the years.
So along with hiring, we looked at promotion rates, we always do, but to show the kind of the momentum that's happening at your companies, we found that 49% or 49,000 people were promoted to manager, 15,000 were promoted to senior manager, and 2,400 were promoted to corporate executive for a total of 67,000 promotions. So again, there's movement. Okay, but gender continues to play a role, though, in promotions, much like what Carol was just talking about with the ladder. According to the data that you gave us, men still receive the majority of promotions at every level, particularly at that corporate executive level, where you can see that women received less than a third of all promotions last year.
So let's look at what we're doing, though, in programs and policies. Very important. We want to do a brief tour of we did a brief tour of some of our representation data, but the powerful programs and policies that you put in place are really what we want to focus on right now. And let's see how you're supporting women at all levels. First of all, my favorite statistics, because they're the bad ones. Best versus rest. I mean, the difference between what we do and what all companies, as measured by SHRM, does is pretty astonishing. Let's look at these. Flex time offerings have fallen and then rose a little bit this past year, but are still not back up to 2007 levels for the SHRM data that's reported. Telecommuting is slightly down from 2007 still. Job sharing has fallen quite a bit and has not come back up. Compressed work weeks are slightly below pre-recession level. Each year we compare the 100 best to SHRM, and let's see how we did, the 100 best companies. There you go. I'd say that's
pretty significant.
Really good. Can I hear a round of applause for our best companies? 100. What does that say? 95 and 96% offer these programs, and what a gigantic difference it would make if all companies were on the same wavelength as the 100 best.
Exactly. So even more impressive than the offering are the usage rates. We always ask about usage rates at the best companies. So let's look at some of them. Here is the usage of Flex. You can see that the usage rate for across the entire best companies workforce was 75%, and that's a number that's been inching up in recent years. 1/2 of the best companies workforce telecommute, which is another increasing number. 31% use a compressed work schedule, again, also increasing. 5% take advantage of temporary part-time, and 2% use job sharing. Those are two options that we've seen some declines in recently as the others have increased.
All right, let's look at paid parental leave and paid sick leave, access to both of which has seemingly stagnated according to the SHRM reports. Only 16% of employees offer paid parental leave, and only 37% offer paid sick leave. And this, of course, is something that we are on the bandwagon about. We're going to be talking about this a bit over the days, but Working Mother has mounted a huge campaign to get paid parental leave mandated across the country. So let's look at how we do. Okay, I mean, these numbers are really, they're happy for us, but they're very sad for women and for moms and dads both, and everybody. I mean, elder care, everything is wrapped up in this. So we have 100% maternity leave paid. It's a requirement now for being on this list. You cannot be on the Working Mother 100 without having paid maternity leave. We have 79% paid adoption leave, which is rising rapidly. 76% paid paternity leave. Again, that was only like 37% just a few years ago. And 66% paid sick leave. So we are quite strong, maybe even awesome.
So let's look at what the paid leave offerings actually are at the best companies. So the average fully paid maternity leave number actually fell this year to 7 weeks from 9 weeks last year. I personally think that there was some sort of anomaly last year. Maybe we had a particular winner who pulled up the entire list of 9. We'll see how this plays out. I don't think this is a trend yet. Next up is partially paid maternity weeks. This is a trend. It's up to, the average now is up to 5 weeks across all of the best companies. We're holding steady at 3 weeks for paid paternity leave. And for primary caregivers for adoption leave, it's at 5. And secondary caregivers is at 2.
So now let's look at what we're doing to advance women. I mean, we showed you the up and down ladder that men and women are on, but there's a lot going on at the 100 best companies to really attack the stalling of women's advancement in the country as a whole. And so let's look at the depth of programs offered here at the Working Mother 100 Best Companies. Management or leadership training is offered by all 100 best companies. Executive coaching, affinity groups, formal mentoring, career counseling, and formal executive succession planning are offered by more than 90% of the best companies. And formalized sponsorship programs, which is, again, one of those rising programs, are now offered by almost half of the 100 best companies. Oh, is it me?
Nope, it's me. Next up, let's look at childcare. We're just kind of whiz through the depth of childcare offerings that the 100 best companies offer. Almost every single company is offering referral services. 88% are offering backup childcare. Summer childcare and sick childcare are offered by more than half of the Working Mother 100 best companies. 43% offer before and after school care. 43% have on-site childcare, and 40% have company-sponsored off-site childcare. So it's an incredible breadth of offerings for childcare, which I care about because I have 2 children.
We all care. And finally, a really important part of what we measure is how we communicate these options to our employees. I came up through sales and marketing, and so I look at the world as how do we communicate to others, but nothing is, in my mind, more important than this because it's tied very closely to the issue of stigma. And stigma for work-life programs is something that we are working so hard to get past. We're all very hopeful that there's a generational shift in this issue and that the youngest generations coming into the workforce, welcome and openly expect work-life balance in their lives. But let's not forget that there's still stigma that is suffered continuously by many, many people as individual managers put pressure on people to not take advantage of programs and policies. So encouraging usage and defeating stigma is all about how we communicate. So let's look at how we're doing here. More than 90% of the 100 best companies tell employees about their options at orientation. 92% include work-life information in recruiting materials. And 89% share the results of employee surveys with the employees themselves. We know that communication is so important, and one of the ideas that's I was talking about at the cocktail party last night was to have 100% of your employees enroll in Flex, whether they use it or not, so that it becomes part of the culture of the company that this is what we do, we flex. I think that's a really interesting next generation idea. Thank you, Carol Rose. So let's think about not just programs and policies, but let's remember that stigma is attacked by communication, and let's work on that over the next 2 days as well.
So we have many more slides, which we won't show you right now. But if you'd like to download the full executive summary for the 2011 Working Mother 100 Best Companies, it's on the Working Mother website at workingmother.com/bestcompanies.